Hey, Nikki Brown here. No matter where you are and no matter what part of the world you're in, I hope that you're having a good day. So, um, a few people at work have asked me where I live. Now, some of it's just out of curiosity, but some of it's because I know that some people know that I'm homeless right now. And I just always say in the area because before I had to leave my apartment, I was living 5 minutes from where I work. And so I basically still live in the area. So I just say I'm in the area. Um, and omission is a lie, but I just don't feel like having the conversation, right? Especially if you know already. Like, I don't want to play that game. And again, I just don't want to talk about it. Sometimes people just want to know so that they can continue to gossip. And it's not that I'm ashamed of it because it is what it is. I'm thankful. Um, and, even before was in this situation, when I was still in Raleigh, I volunteered at the homeless shelter. And I would pass out food. And then even once I came here to Atlanta, I was doing the same thing. And people were like, oh, homeless people are just on drugs. And that's so not true. And it's so disrespectful to make that assumption that everyone who's in this situation is because of they're doing drugs, or they just simply mismanage their money, or whatever assumptions that people make, because you don't know someone's situation. Everybody that's homeless is not on drugs. One of the places I'm at now, there's somebody with a Porsche, there's somebody with an Audi, there's a BMW driver. There are some older cars and there are some different cars, but these people, you don't know what their situation is, right? Because you haven't talked to them. And I see these same people, just like I do. They get, they go to work and then they come back at the end of the day and, and then do it all over again. And this is multiple places, right? This is not just in this one particular place where I am today. This is in multiple places. I see some of the same people and different nationalities of people. These people are not drunk, they're not high, and people fall on hard times. It could be medical reasons. It could just be a series of unfortunate events. There are different reasons why people end up in the situation that they're in. But again, even before I was in this situation, I was helping people. So I was actually talking to people, boots on the ground. And I know that not everybody a situation is because they are on drugs or they drink. I don't have drugs or alcohol in my system, right? And so, again, to make that assumption is a bit ridiculous, especially knowing what's going on in the economy. A lot of people within the past few years have become in this situation because they just can't afford to pay the rent. The increases are ridiculous in some places. And if they were already struggling, it just became even more amplified. And we're talking about families, mother and father with children, both working. But because they and statistically, melanated people or people that look like me make less overall than other nationalities. A lot of us don't own businesses because many people are afraid, because when we did own businesses in larger numbers, they were burned down or placed underwater, or massacres happened, whatever the case may be, bombings, all kinds of stuff happened because of jealousy, fear, and animosity by other nationalities. So even when we, were more of a community and we helped each other and prevented people from being in these types of situations, they introduced drugs and, cheap alcohol, and basically ruined the family structure and, implemented these social service programs so that people can feel more independent and do things on their own. And then you have people, women are raised to be more marriage minded, although that's starting to change. Men are raised to just sow their royal oats. So you have, again, where people aren't even becoming families anymore. It's just, oh, I'm just going to do me. And then, when certain people get too old, they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll find me somebody now, somebody 20, 30, 40 years younger to take care of me. Or they're just, leaving here alone. And there is an epidemic. There's an old epidemic of old men dying alone. Or they're dying in nursing homes. And they, the people who work in nursing homes say that men get less visits than the women do because they didn't take care of people throughout their life. So nobody takes care of them during their last days. So there's a lot going on, especially in the melanated community. As I said, a lot of people were taught to, oh, it's just about me and mine. But again, if we're not all winning collectively, it's not a good thing, because at any moment these things can change. Again, someone could get sick, someone could lose a source of income. Gentrification is happening everywhere, right? What if they decide that they want to build a highway through your neighborhood and claim eminent domain? And you say no, and because you said no and didn't take the money that they offered you, they say, oh, we're going to take it anyway, and you get nothing. These things happen. You never know what a person's situation is. So again, to judge when at any moment something could happen, a flood could happen, and maybe you're not in a flood zone, so you didn't have flood insurance, and you lose everything, and the insurance company is like, no, we're not paying for you to rebuild. And so you have to go live in a senior facility, or go stay with relatives, or something along those lines, because whatever, anything, you never know what could happen. So judging people is just not a good thing. You never know what somebody's situation is, what their thoughts are, unless you actually have that conversation with them. And nowadays it's like, oh, well, I don't want to ask, I don't want to talk, I don't want to communicate. I've never seen anything like it in terms of attempting to understand, not because you want to gossip, right? Because you truly want to understand and possibly help someone. It's so rude to ask someone what their situation is as if you're so concerned when you just want to gossip and not help them at all. So you just sat there and asked these probing questions and had this person basically pour out their life for you to just say, oh, okay. And then go get on the phone or go in another room and talk about this person. When you never know, the same thing could happen to you. Just because you may be in a good situation right now, you never know what the future may hold. And that was one of the reasons why I would volunteer to help people, because for years I've been feeling like I'm just one incident away from possibly being in the same situation. And so I would help people. I would voluntarily help people. I've always given away clothes. I've always given water, shoes. And some people are like, oh, those people don't want that. You don't know what somebody wants. You don't know what somebody needs. Because everybody's situation is different. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here and contribute something today. And so that was what came to mind. We can't judge a book by its cover, because you never know. Anyway, love y'all. Later. Mwah.